Why should somebody get married? I'm a single guy. I'm a playboy. I'm having a good time. I'm running around. Do I really want to be just with one girl and, have to answer to my wife pick up the phone. If you don't pick up, you got an argument. What are you doing Friday night, Saturday night? I want to go out with the boys to the club and hang out. And you want me to give all that freedom up for marriage? And you want me to be having kids? Wake me up in the middle of the night. One of the kids gets a flu. Then all the kids get flu. And it's just a matter of time on when I'm getting the flu. It could be 3 weeks from now, a week from now, 2 months from now, saliva. I'm out of work. They're spitting on me. I'm changing their diapers. What a mess.
You're not selling it,
You're
Pat.
not
You're not
selling
selling
it. Package it better for me. So why should a guy sitting here saying, dude, I just want to focus on my career. Lady, focusing, I just want to focus on my career. I don't want to have kids, get married. Why should somebody get married and have kids?
Well, I've heard you on the podcast talk about it. The joy, those moments with your children and watching them grow and develop. We have 8 children, and it is the highlight of my life. It is truly. Was it extremely difficult when we had 3 under 4 and you got diapers? Absolutely. But you know what? So was building a business. So was writing a book. You've done all these things. You hate it. There's times that you're like, this sucks. Why am I doing this?
Seriously.
It's not worth it.
Yep.
But then later on, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And people need to know that is the path of parenthood and family. Is there instant gratification? No, but we need to teach people delayed gratification, because I sometimes, when I'm enjoying something great in my life, a success, I think, there was a past version of Taylor Marshall who made these decisions and worked really hard for those 6 months or those 2 years. And that past version of Taylor Marshall gifted this moment to me because of what I did before. And you have to think about that delayed gratification. And that is Christianity. Christianity is, we are in a valley of tears. There is suffering in this life. We're all going to have problems. We're all going to die. We're all going to have suffering. We live not for the instant gratification of the drugs, the sex, the party, all these things. We defer, we restrain ourselves from these things because we believe in a higher good and that it will be better. That has to be taught to people. We live in a more hedonistic society. And I think what you're saying there is also, we have to sell it. We have to show that it's not just the American dream, it's the human dream. Everything that's alive wants to procreate, to reproduce, to expand the good. And maybe it's, maybe people have a bad view of themselves, or maybe there's some self-hatred, or there's fear because their parents were divorced, or things they went through from a child. And I don't want to expand that. But I think if you have a right relationship with God, there's healing in those things, and there's a new perspective. There's a transcendent view. It's not just looking around here anymore. You're starting to look up there, and you're like, I'm just for a moment. I'm for 80, 90 years. But something goes on. And I always tell my kids, all my kids, I'm like, look, I want you to be smarter than me. I want you to have a better marriage than mom and me. I want you to be wealthier. I want you to be holier. I want you to be better, smarter, everything than me. My whole goal is just to slingshot you into more excellence. And I'm sure you're the same way.
No question about it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing. I don't want to hold my kids back. I want them all to be, when I die, hopefully better than I am along the path of what God wants for them in this world. That is the ultimate project to live for.
8 kids. Which number was hardest? Because when you have 2, they'll tell you when you go to 3, that's tough, right? Because the whole triangle offense or zone or whatever they talk about. What number was tougher than 3?
3 and 4 is the hardest.
That's it.
Well, because they're so young. They're so young, and you're dealing with young
Makes sense.
Kids. As they reach 10, especially when they start reaching, we haven't had like really bad problem kids or teenagers. You've got some of the older ones, and they're helping mom with dinner, and there's kind of a team effort that happens. And I think that's another great thing for kids, to be part of this large community where there is fighting and there is bickering, and he took this and he didn't do the chores and tattletelling. That's all. But I think that also rounds you out and polishes off the rough edges for people. And that's something else I think we're kind of missing, is sort of the joy and the benefit, the outcome of a large family. You'll meet all the guys all the time, like, oh, I got 100 employees, I got this. It's like, well, let's have go from 2 kids to 3 kids.
How many friends you got that have 8 kids? Same. Same mom and dad.
Man, I've got one of my buddies, a mentor, Greg. We just went to Rome together. He's got 12.
Catholic as well.
Catholic. Guy across the street from me, Catholic. He's got 8.
Same husband and wife.
Same
father
husband
and mother.
wife.
Okay.
I'd say I'd probably know 30.
You know 30?
I'm Catholic, Pat. I'm Catholic.
Santorum's also got 8 kids. Santorum had 8 kids, if I'm not mistaken, right? Something happened to one of them, I believe.
Yeah.
There was a challenge that happened with them. How many kids did Santorum have?
I think you're right. I think he has 8. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, right there.
There it is. 8.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's one of the things about being Catholic is, in 1968, Pope Paul VI came out very controversial, and he says contraception's wrong. It's a sin. Now, 90-something% of Catholics don't follow that teaching, but it's on the books. And when you think about it, when you think about the mystery of matrimony and the mystery of what sex actually is, the way God designed it, I think there's a lot of wisdom in what Pope Paul VI says in the Catholic Church. And when people find out I have 8 kids with the same woman, they're like, okay, are you Catholic, Mormon, or Muslim? That question right there, I think, is revealing to where we are in a society. And it is a blessing. It is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I think you would agree with me that the joy of seeing your children succeed, even fail, learn, grow. It's such a profound human experience. It pulls you out of your own egoism into the life of other people. And another thing I think it does is it bonds you to your wife, because you have to be together. If you have 1 or 2 kids and they go off to college, yeah, I mean, you don't really, maybe you do get divorced. I don't know, but when you're dealing with a team like that, you really learn to bond with each other. You really learn to work as a team. And just as it's kind of chiseling off the rough parts on the kids, I think it's also doing the same for the husband and wife. So
interesting. Can you search which religion has the most kids? And not even, I don't even know if I want to go religion. Do Catholics, Mormons, and Jews and Muslims, specifically them? Can you go a little lower, Rob, so I can see what you're typing up? There you go. Okay. Who has more kids? So interesting when you say you're Catholic.
2.9.
Mormons are 3. Holy moly, Mormons.
Mormons, they're doing it.
They're doing it.
They're doing
right
it.
now, while they're watching this, they're going to take a break right now and step away.
Catholics are at 2.
Catholics are at 2.
Below replacement. Jews, 2.3.
But is it?
Can you put in how many do traditional Catholics have? That's kind of where I'm at. That's what I am. That's like Mel Gibson, we're like the old dinosaur Catholics. Put in how birth rate for traditional Catholics?
Okay, there you go.
That's 3.6, 4.2.
That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
3.6 to 4.2. And so when you tell me 30, dude, I don't know if I know.
I would say on Sunday at Mass, more people are under 15 than over 15.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That's a very healthy sign.
It is. I always say if your church isn't crying, it's dying. Like, you need to hear those babies.
Kids, yeah, makes sense. That's good. So from the moment he said that, contraception, what year was that? You said 1960s?
I mean, it's been the first time that any Christian said contraception okay was the Anglican Church of England, 1930, Lambeth Conference. That was shocking to the world that Christians said, oh, you can use condoms. And they were like, whoa. Because Christians
when was the first time?
1930.
And what's the name of the person that said you can use condoms?
It was the a conference of Anglican non-Catholic bishops called the Lambeth Conference, I believe.
So the Lambeth Conference.
That was 1930. That was the first time any Christian had ever said you can practice artificial contraception. Did it come up? There it is. 1930, Lambeth Conference. And so then when that happened, there was all this confusion in Christianity. Can we do this or can we not do that? And finally, 38 years later, 1968, Pope Paul VI issued a document called Humanae Vitae, and he says you may not practice artificial contraception. Hugely controversial. Still controversial to this day.
Still controversial till this day. Like even members say, I don't
would
know
say,
about this.
you know, your Joe Biden Catholic crowd, they're like, that's dumb. We're going to contracept, right? But those who are traditional Catholics, they're like, we're never going to use a condom. We're never going to use contraception. Let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's in 1930, first time they say this at the Lambert Conference. Question is, was he the founder of Trojan Condoms? That's kind of what I wanted. Maybe there's like a
majority
investor.
investor.
It's like an 18% owner. He's like, oh, now it makes sense. The guy's a billionaire. Yeah, it started off with targeting Catholics first, but what was it? You said this was in where? This was in Church of England?
Church of England, Protestant Church of England. Lambeth Conference was a group of their bishops and clergy. They all got together. They discussed it, and they said, and actually, let me clarify. They said it can only be used by married couples. They said using it outside of, you shouldn't be even having sex outside of marriage. So that's off the table. They were just saying married couples can discern to use it in the Protestant Church of England. And then the Catholic Church says, no, we're not going to allow that.
Why, though? Why? Is it to say the act and the behavior is purely to procreate? Is that what the mindset is?
It's not purely to procreate because God associated with it extreme pleasure and bonding. So it's not solely to procreate. But when you know, if I said, well, let's look at the ear, and we did an anatomical study of the ear. Oh, it's for hearing. Like we can hear things, and the eyeball and the stomach and all these things. If you look at human genitalia, they're designed for procreation. So if you're going to completely remove that from the human experience, you're working against nature. And here we are, 2025.
Have a lot of pissed off people if you did that. If you remove that from the human experience, they would go protest.
Yeah.
They'd be very upset about that if you did that. Now, in the last 5 years, it's become popular to cut your dangling off and, you know, go through the
See, look where it led us.
Yeah.
Look where it led us. Well, and also think about this, Pat. If you remove, if a man and woman are married, and this is the inner sanctum of their marital life, right? That's the exclusive element of holy matrimony. If you say, okay, well, we're going to remove that procreative element, ultimately there's the male and there's the female, and they come together and have a child. If you start to remove that, you're also starting to take away the idea of what marriage is, and you're also taking away the procreative difference between man and woman. Now, just extrapolate that over time, and you're going to redefine marriage altogether, and you might even redefine what it is to be a man or a woman, right? You're kind of breaking past the holy of holies of that veil and getting in there and changing something for the first time. And you know, even like Tucker Carlson's been like saying, "Man, I've rethought this contraception thing. Like, this is big." And Dr. Peterson said, feminism is not all these women being heroic. Feminism was the invention of the birth control pill. It gives them the power to go into the workplace and prevent pregnancy for decades at a time. Without that magical power, you would not have feminism.
I wonder if it's going to flip. Like even right now, I wonder if it's going to flip, and we're going to get to a point where it's about having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 kids. I wonder because that's a massive flip. When you live a selfish life, temporarily, it's very warm and fuzzy. And by the time you find that it's not, it's kind of too late. You know, you're kind of like, shoot. Like the whole feminist movement. Let me tell you, and then you're 66 years old. Biggest mistake of my life was joining. You know, you see that taking place.
Hey, I'm Dr. Taylor Marshall, and I run a podcast and write books on philosophy, theology, Catholicism. My wife and I have 8 children, so if you'd like to connect and ask me any questions on any of these topics or anything else, please connect with me on Connect.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.